Hello friends, and welcome to my baking corner, Rachel's baking corner. That's what we're going to call it. Today I'm going to be making Claire Saffit's pineapple upside down cake that is made in a skillet, which I'm really excited about because you don't have to fiddle a lot with prepping a pan, and it adds a lot of caramelization and just yummy flavors. So without further ado, let's get started. I think the first thing I'm going to do is prep my pineapple, and that doesn't really need to be explained a whole lot. I'm just going to let you watch, okay? Okay. For what it's worth, I keep a paper towel nearby when you're cutting a pineapple because it gets really messy, you know? So I have my pineapple chopped into some monstrous 1-inch sizes. They're supposed to be a 1/2 inch, so I think that's probably about right. I don't know. I have extra, so I've got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, it'll have to do. Claire used a round cutter to get it in the center and get the cores out so they look like pineapple rings. I don't have those. I used to. I have no clue what happened to it, but I do have sprinkles with the metal lid, and so we're going to see if that does the same thing. I think I'll just use a knife. Oh, that sounded so terrifying. Nope. We will just use our knife. Hey, I thought I was being innovative and trying something. That's fine. They're going to be a little rough around the edges, that's all. Works for me. Okay, so now we are going to brown the butter. So we're going to use the pan/skillet that we're going to cook the cake in and brown the butter, which is the ingredient for the cake. There's also butter in the topping, but we're going to do for the cake first. That's 1.5 sticks. We're going to go to the stovetop and brown the butter until it's a nice golden brown and has some good brown floating solids, I think is the technical term she uses. So let's go. Okay, we're handheld now. We are going to melt the butter on medium-low heat until it's nice and browned, bubbles, gets frothy, and has brown floating solids in it. With a silicone spatula, we're going to continuously stir, scraping down the sides to ensure nothing burns, nothing gets stuck, you know. I've never browned butter before, for what it's worth, so if you're watching it live, first time ever browning butter in Rachel's baking corner. It smells very nutty. Kind of hard to see free floating brown bits because my pan is dark, which I'm learning now is probably not smart. I should have used my copper pan, but that's okay. I'm going to call that good because I really don't want to burn it. I'd rather it be underbrowned than burnt. Okay, so according to the recipe, take it off the heat and keep stirring. Oh wow, that's crazy. Keep stirring to let it finish browning, and then we're going to put it in a separate bowl. Okay, so here's our brown butter. We're going to let that cool while we finish the topping, and then by the time the topping is ready and we assemble the cake, this should be relatively cool and opaque. But I can tell you, the smell of this being nutty and buttery next to this smells so good. I'm excited. I had no clue what this combination was going to do, and now I kind of understand. Okay, so now we're going to move on to the topping for the pineapple. That is going to be the bottom part of the cake, so that when you flip it over, it's the top. Duh. What we need for that is half a cup of brown sugar. We're using the same pan that we used for the brown butter because it's all the same thing. We need a pinch of kosher salt. It's a pinch. And then we need our other half of our stick of butter and 1/4 of a cup of water. I'm going to pour it on top of my brown sugar so it breaks down a bit. That looked really cool. I wish you could have seen it. Okay, so we are going to move over to the stovetop and get this to turn almost into like a caramel sauce. And then we'll add our pineapple rings, let that really reduce and cook down, and then we'll be done with the topping. Let's go. Oh, that's still hot. Going to keep cooking once the pineapple gets in, and the pineapple is going to add more liquid that will need to be cooked out. I'm going to call that good. Again, I'd rather underdo it than burn it. So I'm going to turn the heat off to ensure I don't burn it. Yeah, that looks perfect. I don't think I'm going to do all 8. I think this is what I'm going to do because it fits the most. I'm going to let them cook in this caramel for about 5 to 10 minutes until they're translucent. I'm going to switch to a pair of tongs now. As you can kind of see, my burner heats more on this side than on this side, so I'm going to rotate my pan. Flip them and rotate them as we go. I'm going to turn the heat off and move back over to our station. So we have our caramelized pineapple ready to go. We're gonna let that cool for a little bit, and then we'll stick it in the freezer to solidify more so that when we put our cake mix in there, it doesn't just kind of glob all over the place, you know. Let me clear up a little bit, and then we'll get on to the actual cake batter. Yay! Now we're gonna go on to the cake portion. This is going to be dry ingredients, wet ingredients, mixeroo, you know? So we have our flour, 225 grams, and we have all of our miscellaneous. We've got cinnamon, baking soda, baking powder, and sugar. Now, I'm not gonna lie to you, I'm gonna do pumpkin pie spice instead of cinnamon because I like to live my life on the edge. And also, it's September, so it's pumpkin pie season. I don't know, just it's all warm seasoning. So, and then we have our 3/3 of a cup of brown sugar. We're gonna mix everyone together until they're happy. There's our dry ingredients. We need 3/4 of a cup of sour cream. So I have my wet measuring cup, and I'm just gonna scoop my sour cream in there to measure it. And it's important that the sour cream is room temperature so that it blends well with everything else at room temperature. Just dawned on me that I think the brown sugar was supposed to go in with the sour cream. Oh well, doesn't matter. So I'm gonna put my sour cream into my bowl. 3 tablespoons of milk, or rum if you're doing the alcoholic version. 1, 2, 3. Vanilla extract. It's 2 teaspoons of vanilla. 2. Let's start assembling here. So I realize now that mixing my brown sugar in with my dry ingredients is quite the rookie mistake, especially someone who has baked so many chocolate chip cookies in her life, because you need to whip the butter with the brown sugar to incorporate air and add some really good lift to the cake, and I'm not gonna be able to do that now. Nonetheless, we just have to clack on, as they say on Great British Baking Show. I'm going to incorporate my brown butter to my mixing bowl. I did stick it in the refrigerator so that it would solidify, so it would whip easier and prettier and nicer. It smells fantastic. I'm tempted to taste it, but at the same time, just tasting browned butter seems weird. Should I do it? Should I taste it? I'm gonna taste it. Just a teeny tiny bit. It's like toffee without sugar. That's exactly what it tastes like. It is unsweetened toffee. I'm not even kidding. Okay. We're gonna just whip this up to the best of our abilities. So, pardon the noise. Okay, so we are going to incorporate our ingredients in a dry, wet, dry, wet, dry situation. So it's 1/3 of the dry, half the wet, 1/3 of the dry, second half of the wet, last 1/3 of the dry, and then you're done. I was just about to say how you don't want to overmix, and then I realized I forgot the eggs. But at least I realized that after just adding 1 of the dry versus all of the dry and wet. Could be worse. This is a good first video because it really shows that I am indeed an at-home baker and not at all a professional. And that's okay. It's still gonna taste really good. So. I still don't want to overmix. I suppose the eggs will continue to whip into there as we go. So let's do half of our wet. And whip until just incorporated. Don't go crazy. I'm gonna scrape down the sides of my bowl. Get the next 1/3. Rookie mistake number 2, pulling the beaters out before I turned the mixer off. I'm purposefully trying to do a terrible job so that in my later videos you're gonna be like, wow, she's come such a long way. Last bit of dry. It's insanely good. So Claire says to undermix and to hand mix it at the end. So we have our batter finished. I have the topping with the pineapple in the whole pan in the freezer, hopefully setting a little bit better so that once I pour the batter in, it won't just gloop all out. And we'll get it in the oven now. I'm gonna preheat my oven and we will assemble the cake. Okay, cool. I almost forgot, I would like to add maraschino cherries. I know that is not in the recipe. I don't care. Neither is pumpkin spice. To me, a classic pineapple upside down cake has maraschino cherries in it. When I was a little kid, maraschino cherries were my favorite. My grandma would make me a sundae, and by make a sundae I mean scoop me some ice cream and put a maraschino cherry on top. And then she would give me my ice cream and the jar of cherries with a spoon. And that was how I ate ice cream as a little kid. But that's what grandmas do, they spoil you. So we'll just put some with the caramel. All right, so now we're going to scoop dollops of batter along the top, and then we'll smooth it out. So we're gonna just slowly swirl this around till it gets just about to the edges. It's gonna puff up. If you hear little feet, it's my dogs. Or a shake, those are also my dogs. Okay, I call that good enough. Okay, so I have my oven preheating to 350. I'm going to let this just hang out in the fridge until I get it in the oven, and then it will take about 35 to 45 minutes depending on your oven. You want it to be golden brown across the top, toothpick come out clean, you know the deal, springy, all that good stuff. So I will see you shortly when we pull it out and do the ultimate reveal, okay? Did you want to say hello? Come here. I would like some cake, please, Mom. May I have some cake, please? See you in a bit. So here we are. Cake has baked. It took exactly 35 minutes. Mine got a little lumpy, but that could be because I didn't whip air into it properly with the brown sugar and butter mixture, but still smells fantastic. My whole house smells so good. So now what we're gonna do, I let it cool for about almost an hour, 45 minutes. It's still warm to the touch, but according to Claire, you don't want it to completely set or else it may stick when you're trying to invert it. So we're gonna do that now. I've got a big Thanksgiving plate, essentially. I'm gonna set it on top. I'm gonna say a prayer and I'm gonna flip it. My pan is still hot, so I'm going to use these just in case. Okay, let's hope I don't make a huge mess. Oh, I think I heard it. Okay, let's see. Oh, wow. Not bad. Oh, it smells so good. Okay. She mentioned you may have to do some zhuzhing to kind of put it back together a little bit, which I appreciate that she was open about that. Cherries did good. Cherries did really good. Let's go like this. Because it is such a moist cake, it does stick a bit, but it is kind of syrupy, so you can just shellac it back on exactly how it was before. Oh, it smells so good. This is such a fun cake to make because it doesn't really require any decorating. And the decoration is delicious and pretty. Okay, that's enough. Let's cut into this cake. I'm so excited. It smells so good and fruity and vanilla'd and oh. Not bad. Not bad at all. Got a little bit of pineapple, got a little bit of cherries. It's still warm. Let me get a fork. All right, I'm gonna try it now. I'm gonna do what Claire did and just try the cake by itself first. I'm glad I did that pumpkin spice. It's almost gingerbready. Okay, now let's try it with the fruit and the caramel. Oh yeah, that's perfect. Very, very, very good. It's so soft and delicate and melts in the mouth. Yep. This is going to be a crowd pleaser for sure. Now I'll just eat the cake. Okay. All right, well, now that I've almost eaten an entire slice, I am going to say goodbye, make this cake. It's delicious. It's very summery and vibrant and pretty, and yet at the same time with that pumpkin spice, or cinnamon, if you do cinnamon like the recipe actually says, it still has that warm spice that just makes you feel nostalgic and happy. So I highly recommend this recipe. I love it. It's going to be a hit tonight, and I hope you enjoyed watching this video. I plan on making many more in Rachel's Baking Corner. If you liked it, please like this video. Comment what recipes you think I should do. Should I do more from Claire Saffitz? I have Giuseppe's book from the Great British Bake Off coming eventually once it actually releases. All that stuff. So comment recommendations and please subscribe. Thanks for watching and have a fabulous day. Bye.